and welcome to Transition Evening. This is a pre-recorded presentation for the parents that weren't able to join us for our live events. If you do have any questions at the end of the presentation, then please feel free to get in touch with us. I am Mrs. Ringer. I'm the head of Year 7 and I have been working with Year 7 for 6 years now, and it has been an absolute privilege to see a whole school of Year 7s come through and see them grow up and go through to Year 11. I'm also a Spanish teacher here, so your daughter might have me for Spanish as well.
I'm Miss Vanessa and I'm the Deputy Head of Year 7 and I've been on the Year 7 team for 2 years now and I teach geography.
And along with Miss Lowe, who's the Assistant Head Teacher in charge of Lower School, we are the Year 7 team. Miss Lowe wanted to introduce herself and welcome you officially to our community.
My name is Holly Lowe and I'm the Assistant Teacher for the Lower School, which means I have the pleasure of overseeing Year 7, which at this time of the year is really exciting. And I know that we are meeting tonight in the strangest of circumstances, and it's not the format or the structure that you were expecting, your daughters were expecting, or we were expecting. But I hope that you'll see tonight from the team that our message is the same as it would be if we were gathered in the hall tonight, which is that we are so genuinely excited to welcome your daughters to Rosebery. Perhaps more so than ever, we're so excited to welcome them to be part of our fantastic community. And I appreciate that transition doesn't look the way that you were hoping for it to, or that your daughters were expecting it to, and I know that will cause some uncertainty. We still don't know what September is going to look like, and I'm sure that that's troubling for some of your daughters and for you, of course, but I really hope that this evening, once you've met the team and Miss Ringer and Miss Vanessa have spoken you through their vision for the year group and for transition, that you will feel really reassured that we genuinely are doing everything we can to make sure that your daughters feel supported and excited about coming to Rosebery, and most of all, they feel comfortable about starting in September. And you couldn't be in better hands. Mrs. Ringer and Miss Vanessa are working incredibly hard, and I know that you'll have been accessing lots of the stuff they've been sending out already, and I know that this evening they're going to talk to you at length about all the plans they've got, and you couldn't be in better hands. And I know that lots of you have sent questions in already. Thank you so much for doing that, and I know that more questions will come up, so please remember that this team is your team now, and we're here to support your daughters throughout this period, and obviously once they're with us in September as well, to encourage them, to support them, to make them feel happy, and to make sure that they're doing their absolute best at Rosebery. So enjoy this evening, and I'll hand you back over to Mrs. Ringer and Miss Vanessa.
So I'd just like to echo what Miss Lowe said. We are just so excited for your daughters to join us, and we would like to say thank you for your patience while we adapt and evolve our plans for transition this year, and it will look different. But we would just like to detail those plans with you this evening, and also kick off our transition programme officially this evening. So there are several aims of our presentation, and that is to provide those updates and guidance for the next few weeks and to provide reassurance. We'd also like to introduce you to the staff at Rosebery and introduce key members of staff, as well as the extended Year 7 team. We'd also like to talk you through some of our system at Rosebery, because these could be quite different to the systems at primary school, and to clarify the communication channels so that you can get in touch with the people that you need to from today. We'd also like to share our ethos and our vision, which we are very, very proud of and really excited to be sharing with you tonight. And this will feed into the opportunities that are available to your daughters. And there are endless opportunities at Rosebery for your daughters. So we're very, very excited to detail those to you. And we'd also like to offer some guidance on September and the year beyond, and talk to you about what we think it is going to look like for next year. So just to start the presentation, we would like to talk about our transition programme and the changes that we've made in light of the virus.
So as Ms. Ringer said, we've had to adapt our normal transition programme in order to make sure we're working within the guidelines from the government, and as the situation with COVID-19 evolves, our plans will have to be updated and changed, and we will let you know as and when this happens. But what doesn't change is the fact that we are so excited to meet our new Year 7 cohort, and we're working really, really hard to make sure they're given as many of the opportunities we normally give to Year 7 as possible, if not more, while keeping their well-being and safety at the forefront of our plans. The first event that has had to change this year is our transition day. Normally at this point in the year, we'd be looking forward to welcoming the Year 6s into the building and having them meet the other students in their form classes and their form tutors. This year, we're going to put that day afternoon online. It's going to be on the 2nd of July, and your daughter will receive a link to an online meeting where she will meet the rest of the students in her form and her form tutor. They will have the opportunity to play some games, get to know each other, and their form tutors will answer any questions they may have.
At this point of the year as well, we know that our Year 6 students that are going to be joining us in September, they tend to come to Open Evening just to have another look at their new school. This event will also be going online. It's a really, really good thing to get involved in. Have a look at the resources. There's going to be a virtual tour, also some videos from current students, and it will be a real insight to school life at Rosebery. So please have a look at that. We also have plans to carry out our one-to-one interviews as normal. And we are in the very early stages of putting together a plan of what this might look like. Obviously, this is going to be led by what the government tells us is appropriate or what we're able to do. But we are really hopeful that this will be able to take place, and we will come back to you with further information. But we'd just like to make it clear that this isn't a guaranteed event, and as much as we would love to do it, it might have to be postponed. Another favourite event of ours is summer school. Again, this is something that's had to be cancelled in the live version, but we have put this online as well. So on the 23rd and the 24th of July, there will be a range of activities posted on our website, and they'll be getting to know your activities, getting to know the school site, and then we'll come together as a year group for our first assembly all together and celebrate all of the successes of the summer school days. There'll be prizes and certificates, and we hope that it'll be a really, really lovely event, even though it has had to move online. Now, understandably, lots of you sent in questions regarding testing, and we understand that this is a source of anxiety for yourselves and for your daughters. Now, we work extremely closely with the primary schools, and we've been in meetings over the last 4 weeks with all of the primary schools, and they have sent us predictions based on their judgments on where your daughters were at when they left school back in March. Now, March is a long time ago, so therefore we will foresee that we will need to carry out some testing when students join us in September. This won't be the first day, and it's not something that we want to cause lots of worry about over the summer holidays, and we don't expect the girls to be revising or preparing for these tests, but we just wanted to make you aware that we will need to carry out some testing at the moment, and Miss Lowe is currently looking at the best options for the testing programs that we can use. So now a little bit about our systems at Rosebery.
So in Year 7, we have 8 classes made up of around 30 to 32 students, and these are split into the X band and the Y band of the year group. And within each of our houses, there is one X form and one Y form. And we have 4 houses at Rosebery. We have Curie, Elizabeth, Malala and Pankhurst. And we have a little video now for you from our head girls to tell you a bit more about the house system at Rosebery.
Hi, my name's Amelia. And my name's Martha, and we're your head girls. When you come to Rosebery, you'll be assigned a house based on your tutor group. There are 4 houses, and they're all named after influential women. You'll be in either Malala House, Pankhurst House, Elizabeth House, or Curie House, and the name of your tutor group will correspond to this. For example, if you're in tutor group 7CX, the C stands for Curie. Throughout the year, there are multiple events that you can take part in to earn points for your house. Some of the favourites include house netball, football, hockey, and house cheerleading. But don't worry, if sport's not your thing, there's a range of other activities you can take part in, such as house baking and house music competitions. The final event of the year, and arguably the most competitive, is Sports Day. Years 7 to 10 compete in a range of activities to try and win as many house points as they can before the year ends. This is a really fun day for any sports ability, and you can bring some face paint in your house colours. All of these points add up, and at the end of the year in the final assembly, the house winner is announced, and this house receives a trophy. We're really excited to welcome you into the Rosebery community in September, and we're always here if you ever have any questions. Stay safe, and we hope to see you soon in September. Bye.
Most common questions when during the transition period is how we organise our classes, and it really is a tough job to get it right for every student. And our priority is that we create 8 equal forms, and we look at abilities, we look at strengths and weaknesses, we also look at hobbies, so that we don't end up with all of the sporty girls in one form and then all of the musicians in another form. We like to create well-rounded forms. We also have many feeder schools at Rosebery, so we have large cohorts of girls joining us from local primary schools, and we also have girls joining us who are completely alone, coming from their primary school. So we like to create sort of that level playing field at the beginning of the year so that everybody has a fresh start. And we really, really encourage parents to think of this as a fresh start for their daughter, and to think about all the opportunities they can have to make new friends. There are so many opportunities for the girls to get involved in Year 7 and meet new people. And we like them to interact with almost everybody in the year group throughout the year. However, if there are serious issues that you feel that we should be aware of before we make the classes, then please email me before next week, as we cannot make any changes after July. Another question that came up was the language allocation, and I know that this is slightly different to previous years, where we asked you to put a preference on your application as to whether you wanted your daughter to study Spanish or French. This year we are really prioritising the desire to have a balanced and well-rounded tutor group, and therefore we aren't offering a language choice to our students. Now at Rosebery, the communication is a big school. There are many, many teachers, and your daughter could have up to 12 teachers, and so therefore that looks really different to primary school, where you just have that one single point of contact. So we have many forms of communication. Your daughter will have a planner, and that will be something that you sign. So of an evening you can have that discussion about what homework your daughter has, or perhaps what's coming up, looking at her timetable. We also do information evenings in September. And then we have the Rosebery News, which comes out weekly, and that's a really great source of celebrating student success and also upcoming events. We have Insight, which I will talk a little bit about a little bit later. We have our school website, academic reports, which come out in various points during the year. We have our parents' evenings, which is where you will get to meet all of your daughter's teachers and discuss specific subject queries. We also have the Hub, the Rosebery Hub, which your daughter will have access to, as well as you. And we have Twitter and Instagram, and as well as email and phone. So we have many, many communication channels, and for us, communication is vital. We want it to be a two-way street of communication, and we welcome your emails and phone calls to discuss your daughter's progress and any problems that you might have. Yes, and this is where I'm going to do my little plug for our Instagram. So at Rosebery Year 7, we currently have 158 followers, and we would love that to increase. So please feel free to follow us. We'll be putting lots of stories up and pictures, and it really is for you as well as the students. So please check that out. Just to clarify sort of the streams of communication at Rosebery, because we have the pastoral system and then we have the academic side, really your first port of call for any pastoral issues is the tutor, so your daughter's tutor, and they're like their class teacher, the equivalent at primary school. Anything that needs to be escalated will then come to myself or Miss Canessa if needed, and then any further than that, it will go to Miss Lowe. So they're things, so pastoral, so, and then anything to do with the subject, a specific subject, you would go via the subject teacher, and then any escalations would go to the head of department, and then it would go to Miss Lowe eventually.
So as Ms. Ringer said, your daughter's tutor is the most important point of contact for you. They will meet with your daughters every day. They'll take registers, deal with attendance issues, orthodontist appointments, those sorts of things. They will be responsible for your daughter's pastoral care. They'll answer any questions they have, and there'll be lots of those in September. And they will deliver the PSHCE curriculum for their tutor group. We're really lucky this year that we have a really fantastic, a wonderful Year 7 team going forward, and they're really, really experienced, so we're very, very excited. Ms. Ringer and I are responsible for overseeing all of the tutor groups and the tutors, and for any issues that need more intervention, we will step in as and when we need to.
So as I mentioned before, Insight is a really important channel of communication, and you can log into Insight. It has an app, or you can log in via the desktop version, and this is really for you to see how your daughter's getting on a daily basis. So it has the subjects down the side that your daughter would have that day. It has how many achievement points your daughter has, her attendance, and also any behaviour points. It also logs if your daughter is late to any lesson, so there's no hidings because you all know about it. So when they get home, you can have those discussions around the dinner table of how their day went, with a little bit more information to hand. Just a little bit about parent pay. Hopefully now you will have your activation codes, and they came from Mrs. Cornwell. If you please could check your emails for those. And activate that as soon as possible, because that is how we make all payments at Rosebery. So that's for lunches, for any trips, and we need to make sure that any issues with parent pay are sorted out before September, when we start launching all of our exciting events. At the moment, we use a fingerprint scanning system for lunch, and what happens is that you would top up money on on parent pay, and then that money then transfers to your daughter's fingerprint. And I know there has been some worries about whether that fingerprint system would still be in place due to the COVID-19 situation, and what happens is that your daughter can just give her name, and then it can be looked up that way. So we anticipate that would happen in September. Our uniform at Rosebery, hopefully you've had a little look on our website to see what your daughter needs, and it was also in the transition pack. Our uniform is available from Stevenson's. Now, we understand that at the moment there's an appointment system in place to stop overcrowding in the shop, and if there are any issues with uniform appointments, please let us know, because we have a very good relationship with Stevenson's, and we can arrange more appointments for you. We are currently also very unclear about what the rules on uniform will be. At the moment, our students who are on site aren't in uniform, but we don't have a clear answer on that for September, and we will update you as and when. Two other people that are going to be very important in your daughter's journey are Mrs. Byrne and Mrs. Jones. So Mrs. Byrne is our SENDCO, and Mrs. Jones is in charge of our wellbeing team down in the student hub. Both Mrs. Byrne and Mrs. Jones are extremely experienced in working with Year 7s, and we've worked with the girls on various issues, and they are very experienced in dealing with a variety of issues. So if you do need to get in contact with them, you can contact them directly, or you can come via us, and we are more than happy to put you in contact with them. In the Student Hub, we run transition support groups, such as Nurture Group, to help students settle in. And we also really like to plug our breakfast club, because that is open to every single student in the morning. If your daughter's going to get in very early, then she can go down and have some breakfast and interact with girls in other year groups. And it's a really lovely way to start the day. So if you need any more information about Breakfast Club, then please feel free to email me. Now we're moving on to September and the year ahead. At the moment, it all is very uncertain, and we'd love to be able to give you a solid plan, but we have to be very flexible at this point as to what this might look like, and it's unclear whether this will be a phased return and which year groups will be in from the 3rd of September. If we were to do a normal transition, then this is what it would look like. So Thursday, the 3rd of September, 8:30. Year 7 are the first ones in, and they we have staggered starts across all year groups to allow Year 7 to have a calm start to their first day. Please, if you are going to drop off your daughter, then that's fine, but please don't do it on White Horse Drive because it can be very, very busy, as well as with the parents from St. Joseph's as well. So if you could drop off in a different point, and your daughter will come straight in, she'll sit with her tutor group, and then we'll have an assembly, and then all morning is spent with her tutor. They will go through the timetable, they'll go through the planners, they'll do another tour of the school to familiarise themselves, a visit to the library, and all of those logistical things that need to be sorted before we start our lessons. Obviously, we've spoken a lot about our plans, and we've prefaced them all with we're not sure what exactly is going to take place. And this, we understand that the girls won't be necessarily as ready as they normally would be for life at Rosebery. But we are working hard to put together a transition programme for September, where we will gradually introduce them to life at Rosebery and give them more off-timetable opportunities to make friends and bond and do team building. And just to reassure you, we are really experienced with helping students settle in, and we will be working hard to make sure that every single child in Year 7 feels happy and comfortable here, because that is our main priority.
So every year, Ms. Ringer and I sit down and we plan out our Year 7 journey. We think about all the extracurricular and enrichment opportunities that we want to offer just to Year 7. And that normally starts out with our transition programme, which we're going through now. And then in September, that first term, we focus on socialising and making sure the girls have opportunities to meet other people outside of their form classes. So we start with some craft parties for Halloween, we do a team bonding afternoon, we have our fundraising events for children in need, which normally ends with a nice movie night in the hall, and we have all our Christmas activities too. After the Christmas break, we think about bouncing back, and our Bounce Back workshops offer the chance for students to develop resilience and get back into the year. We also have mindfulness workshops and also have drills for skills, which gives the students opportunities to develop their exam and revision skills. Every year group has a motto, and in Year 7 ours is have courage and be kind. Year 7 is all about change, and the whole year is all about stepping outside of your comfort zone and trying new things, and we really want Year 7s to be courageous and do as many of those things as possible and have as many opportunities as possible in their first year at Rosebery. And kindness, that's throughout all the years at Rosebery. We want students to be kind to their peers, to the staff at Rosebery, and also to show kindness to the wider community. So that's our motto.
Before I talk about our enrichment programme at Rosebery, homework, just a little note on homework, it has changed as to previous years, and now there will not be any homework for the first 2 weeks of Year 7 to allow students to settle into Rosebery Life. But after this 2 weeks, settling in period, homework will then just be set in core subjects, and we'll just gradually build up to a full homework timetable by October half term. And this looks like 30 minutes per week for core subjects and 20 minutes per fortnight for all other subjects. Our other focus, as I said, is extracurricular activities, and we still expect students to sign up for 2 clubs a week in this term. But we really, really want to start the year with a bang and keep that momentum for the whole year, and homework feeds into that really, really well. Which is why we have changed it to the 2 weeks. So these are our enrichment and extracurricular activities, and this is not all of them. They wouldn't all fit on a slide. There are so many clubs and activities for your daughter to get involved in. There's art clubs, there's textiles clubs, sports clubs, and if they can't see a club there that they want to do and they've got an idea, we can make the club. There really is limitless for your daughters to get involved in. We can't wait. We absolutely love going to all of the music sessions and the young voices and there are plenty of opportunities for your daughters to play in matches and perform in shows throughout the year. So lots and lots to keep them busy. They definitely are going to be busy students. Another thing that we offer are peripatetic music lessons and singing lessons, and these are with external teachers that come in, and these can be booked via our website. And they take place during the school day, and students come out of lessons to take part in them. So if they are already very proficient in playing an instrument, then they continue with that, or they can start something brand new and exciting. And there's lots and lots to get involved in. And another thing that we are super excited about is our residential trip. Now, currently, we have provisionally booked our trip for next year, but due to restrictions currently, we aren't able to launch that officially with you yet, but we hope to be able to do that very, very soon. And obviously, we know that Year 6 have had their year cut short, and we really want it to be an amazing trip next year and something to really enjoy and look forward to. So more information coming soon about that. So very, very exciting. Another thing that we wanted to do just before we finished is just answer those questions that you posted on the form, things that are perhaps logistical questions that you need to know before September. So, Ms. Gersa, do you want to start?
Yeah, so security measures that we have in place, we've got a one-way system around school currently. Everyone is social distancing by 2 metres. Whether that will change soon or not, we don't know. We regularly do hand washing, hand sanitizer for hands. Unfortunately, we cannot offer the opportunity to come in and look at those before September, because obviously we have a limited number of people that we can have in the building currently. But
we can post pictures.
And maybe do a video if that is something that you would like. So please let us know if you'd like us to do that.
Definitely. Will the back gate be open for students to enter? Yeah, the back gate and the side gates are open in the morning and at the end of the day. But if your daughter is late for any reason or needs to go to the orthodontist during the school day or leave for any reason, then they would have to use the front gate because the back gate gets shut at 8:30.
And depending where we are in September, they might be given an allocated gate to enter through due to restrictions and social distancing, etc. Will we offer cycling proficiency? Unfortunately, we don't offer that in Year 7.
Lockers are something that we offer all students, and they are £25 for the 5 years that your daughter is with us at Rosebery, and that can be paid by Parent Place. That's why Parent Place is very, very important. These are allocated on the first day, and they are usually located close to your daughter's form room, which is their sort of base for the year. And more information will be given about those in September when we start.
Will students be in uniform in September? We honestly just don't know at this point, but as soon as we have any more information on that, we will let you know.
Students' laptops and iPads, we don't recommend that students bring in their own devices. We do have banks of Chromebooks and iPads that we can, as teachers, can book out for lessons, and we also have computer rooms. And we would use those for lessons that are going to be IT based rather than students bringing in their own devices.
Our mobile phone policy for Year 7s, they are allowed to bring their phones to school, but those need to be switched off and in their bags or in their lockers from 8:30, and they should not be turned on again until the end of the school day. Therefore, if you need to get in contact with your daughter at any point, you can call the school directly and they will pass on a message to her.
And just to say on mobile phones, they are a real challenge nowadays to deal with in schools, and it's something we work incredibly hard with our Year 7s to teach them how to use their mobile phones correctly and to use the internet and social media, and we do a lot of work in PSHCE around that. And having our mobile phone policy as it is has really supported our transition programme and encouraged the students to talk to each other face to face rather than through a device. So yeah. And then lastly, the online learning platform is we use Google here, so Google Classroom, Google Meet, and I know that some schools are using that and some schools aren't. If we were to do a phased return in September, then we would make sure that there are tutorials and that we are helping your daughters to become proficient in that, to be able to access any work that we set online. But obviously at this stage, we just don't know what September looks like. I think that was it for the questions. So that's the end of our presentation. We would like to thank you for listening to us. If you do have any queries or questions, then please email us. There's no question too silly or too small. We look forward to hearing from you and to meeting your daughters virtually very, very soon. If you do have those questions, then please send them through to me on eringer@rosebery.surrey.sch.uk.
Or mcanessa@rosebery.surrey.sch.uk.
We look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.
Bye.